Alright guys, so the reason I'm making this video is because these are 4 main exercises that will help you build a lot of strength and muscle when you're first starting out in calisthenics, and you'll gain so much strength and muscle that you can actually just go straight to the gym and be at a better starting point than most people in the gym. So in that first clip I was doing push-ups, and that's an exercise that a lot of people know, but if you can't do a lot, just try out doing them with your knees for assistance. The problem that most people have on push-ups is that their hips are sagging, so basically their hips are way too close to the ground and they're not activating their core, which will lead to bad form in push-ups. It's an easy mistake to make, but just be aware of activating your core. Another common issue that I see on push-ups is people flaring their elbows, meaning that their elbows are coming straight outwards and they're not activating their tricep, and they're putting a lot of pressure on their shoulders, which is unnecessary. What you want to do is keep your triceps tucked in. Your elbows tucked in pretty much will mean that your triceps are also tucked in. And obviously the classic mistake of rushing your reps. As you can see here, I'm doing like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going very fast, but I'm not going all the way up, all the way down, which is going to work my tricep, but not really my chest, and it's not going to result in a proper form of the push-up. Second exercise, which is one of my favorites, is just a bodyweight squat. As you can see here, I'm going all the way down and all the way up. This is going to activate a lot of muscle in my body, especially in my lower body, because of the simple fact that I'm doing a full range of motion and I'm keeping my heels on the ground. Therefore, I'm going to activate pretty much my entire lower body, and it's a very good movement to boost your testosterone. It is worth mentioning that your heels should always be making contact with the ground on the squat, and that they are likely to come off the ground at the bottom if you don't have good mobility. And if you have bad ankle mobility, this is how your squat might look right now, and I'm going to show you the solution for that so you can do the squat properly and get the benefits out of it. So a lot of people have problems with this because they sit down all day, or they don't do any mobility work specifically for their Achilles or their heel so that they can get stronger. And this is how it would look from a zoomed out angle. As you can see, I'm leaning forward, and because my heels are tight, what I'm going to be doing is then raising them off the ground and not pushing properly through my knees, and this is very, very dangerous. What you want to do instead is keep your hands behind your head for balance and stability and push through your heels. This will ensure that you are using your quadriceps to complete the reps and not using any muscles that shouldn't be used. A good way that you can remedy your heel stiffness or your lack of ankle mobility is to grab an object that is fixed and then go down to the bottom and then work on doing your squats with the assistance in front of you, before you are then strong enough to work on the bottom hold only, as you see here, without your heels coming off the ground. This is a very good way to work on rectifying the mistakes that you have probably made in the past when it comes to your ankle stiffness. And don't let your ankle stiffness be the reason why you don't perform bodyweight squats, because bodyweight squats are very underrated. Again, in terms of knee positioning, you want to make sure your knees do not cave in like this. This is the wrong way. This can cause a lot of issues in your legs, and basically just a common way to injure yourself. With that being said, the correct way will be to have your knees traveling in a straight line. You want to have a good alignment. So what I like to do is put my hands out in front of me and just imagine that my knees and my hands are facing straight and that no part of my body is caving inwards. Alright, so let's get into a bit of core. So this is the elbow plank. This is going to be the most accessible for beginners, and it's the third exercise on my list. So the reason why you want to be doing the plank in a straight line is because it's going to activate your core, but you do not want to be doing it like this, as I'm showing, with sink hips, and you don't want to do it with your hips raised either, because this is not going to activate your core to the maximum. So just like this, what you want to do is hold your hips nice and straight, in line with your shoulders pretty much. And if you're not sure where to look, just look at your thumbs. As you can see here, I'm focused on my thumbs, and I'm basically making sure that I'm pushing myself for as long of a hold time as possible by focusing on one spot. And if you find the plank a bit too easy, what you can do is some plank get-ups, where you just go from a plank position into the top of a push-up position, and you repeat this for reps. This is going to also work your core and upper body together. And another modification would be to just do some shoulder taps, right? So left hand to the right shoulder and vice versa. And the fourth and final variation for the basic exercises is going to be the burpee. This one is a really good exercise to get rid of any laziness, or if you're struggling with procrastination, doing burpees is probably the top way to get rid of it. You're working your entire body and you're building a lot of cardio as well at the same time. And for those of you who don't know exactly how you should do a burpee, what you will need to do is start in a standing position, and then you want to get down into a push-up, and then as you see here, down into a push-up, back up, and instead of just standing back up, you want to finish with a little hop. So what you can do is ignore the push-up when you're first starting it, just to learn the second half of the movement. So you just go back, you don't do a push-up, but you do jump at the top. And then you can also do the opposite of that. So you do the push-up, but you just stand back up. And this is how you can start working burpees and start doing them properly and smoothly. So once you work both ends of the movement, which is something that I would advise, you'll end up with smoother looking burpees, just like this, where you go down into a push-up, jump back up. And as you can see here, it's all one movement and it's a fluid motion. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe.